Well, we won't announce where he went.
Hi,
Dan.
Hi, James.
How are you? I'm glad to hear that.
How are you?
I'm back. I'm sorry.
Marvelous. YouTube has arrived, so I'll find out tomorrow. All right, let's go. On the agenda, it doesn't show an invited guest, but we do have an invited guest. John has volunteered his expertise to put together some reports for budgeting and forecasting and all that. And he actually sent, and I forwarded it.
Didn't get a chance to.
Okay. He sent one spreadsheet that's got a whole lot of pages in it and a lot of information in it. And you want to share what you want to help us with?
Sure.
Okay.
Get me to stand up.
You don't need to. There's no mic out there anyways.
Great. Yeah, again, it's thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me to the meeting tonight. I met Jim Sigfoods, met Randy. Randy gave me a tour when I first became a member here, so I really appreciate that. Nice to meet all of you. And I think I just wanted to volunteer for the community and thought about what I could do. I like the ORV track. I talked to Jim about helping out there, but one other area would be finance. That's one of my interests. I work in that field, and I'm not asking to be on the committee or anything like that. I'm just wanted to volunteer, do what I could. I looked at all your financials online. You guys have done a good job putting a lot of information out there. All your profit and loss statements, your operating budget, your 5-year plan. So there's a lot of good information out there. I read through all of it. So what I was just offering was any kind of assistance. You don't have to have me do anything. It's up to you. I was looking more at like some long range forecasts. Looking at some of your budget documents, adding in some actuals, and then looking each month is one idea, and then looking out 5 years, maybe 10 years, looking at your assessments and how some of the trends and growth there, and some of your transfers to other funds, and just again, I need to get a little bit more sense of these things, but. So those are some of the services I thought maybe I could offer the committee. There'll be some additional data that I would probably need. And Penny's been great. She's given me some information so far. She's been fantastic. So I know you have. I read that long-term financial plan. You've got a lot of targets, a lot of fund balance targets. You've got a lot of capital needs. It looks like. If you want to maintain those fund balances. What is it going to take, given all the infrastructure needs? And a lot of the modeling that you have that I sent you, there's a lot of assumptions in there. So you can go in and you can adjust things. What would happen if you increased or decreased the road assessment? Or if you reallocated various things as far as how much you give to the capital fund or depreciation fund. What would happen if you did a flat assessment, of X dollars over so many years, and then when might you need another one? In another 5 years, another 10 years. So those are the types of things, and any kind of analysis that you might need as far as point of sale information, what's going on at the lodge, what's going on at the restaurant, detailed type of studies like that. So again. That's where I thought I might be able to contribute. If we don't need anything, that's okay too. So.
Excuse me. I just looked at this afternoon, and Jim didn't have a chance to because he was under the knife having his shoulder repaired.
I think the biggest thing you can help us with is just I do the budget and we spend a lot of time reviewing it. Is just trying to take that for the assessment increases, and a lot of people said, hey, well, what do we look like in 5 years, 10 years? Is this enough? And what are we going to need? Are we going to need another increase? It's just helping us answer those questions initially is, what is our needs in 10 years? It's hard. We're almost just stuck in a one-year mode of trying to balance this thing, really helping us push that out is difficult, and there's assumptions you got to make as far as what it's cost of roads and stuff like that. But the reality is just what assessments do we need in 5 years or 10 years that we don't know, and that's what I think that would help all the membership better understand that cost of living adjustment or whatever it is at 1.6% is not keeping up with the cost of running this club.
Right.
And that's what we struggle with is, the road materials, the labor costs, that stuff is going up way more than what, the CPI is going up.
We've explained that the last 2 years, haven't we? And
You got to
we asked for the assessments and then get approved.
We've explained it, but I think having a true good 5 and 10 year budget forecast would really help with that.
I think every extra tool, every tool that we can put out there would help. Go ahead, Dan.
I think that it would be a great addition to us. I think another one where you talked about POS, for instance, I would love to take the existing financials and put a month-by-month plan versus actual horizontally across, so you can see trends and adjustments. Even fine-tune it with point of sale data, for instance, liquor sales versus food sales, and do it for a year period so you can look, and then have multiple years in history so you can do trend analysis and things of that sort. Working with the current system, it can all be done. It's just time consuming getting it there, but once it's there, it's there.
Right. The data's
So
there.
the data's there. It's just, working with a paper report or Excel, as you're very familiar with. My old Excel skills, since I've retired, have diminished, and so I would welcome it tremendously. So,
Sure.
John, when you asked Penny for reports, did she get them to you in Excel format, or did you have to import them out of a text file?
They were in PDF, and
Okay.
so I just manually entered some stuff. The one thing that I didn't have that she's, I think, we talked a little bit about is just more of the profit and loss on the actual funds. It's pretty clear your income that's coming in and your expenses, and that's tied to your budget. But then the transfers that are going into your road fund and your depreciation fund, that's kind of a link or a missing component. But that would be seen on the profit and loss. I was able to kind of piece together the cash balances, like your ending cash balance for each fund based on your audit. You guys did an audit, I think, last year. So again, when you look at those materials, a lot of it is, some of it's actual from what I could gather, and then I just did some hypothetical projections just to give you a sense of what it could look like.
Well, two things. One, I think we can get reports in Excel format, correct?
Oh, yeah. You can, let me caution, it's not real clean coming out of QuickBooks.
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, both systems actually. POS is not pure in the sense of formatting, so you have to work with the formats.
A little bit, but
I
think
it's probably stuff you've already done.
Transfers. So everything goes to operating, and then we transfer cash. Just have her pull the GL detail for which that will come out in Excel pretty clean. Have her pull the GL details for all those like capital depreciation, roads, and you can see all those transfers when they're happening. Because you don't necessarily see that in P&L. Those are just simply cash transfers from operating to capital to depreciation. So when we get it, the committee gets a report every month or so that shows all kind of running total of those trends. Yeah. Well, we get the GL detail that shows what was spent, what was paid out of those funds.
Well, I guess we'd be very happy to have you help.
Sure.
And we'll tell Penny that, whatever detail you want, it's available to all members anyway, so.
Do you have the detailed budget? It's got the months all rolling up.
I've got the 2020 budget where you've got your actuals in there. I think whatever you have posted on your website is what I was able to grab.
I'm not sure what got posted.
I don't either.
I don't think that's out there, but
Okay.
I'd have to double
We
check.
need to-
There's a lot out there,
Yeah.
I don't know what got posted. It was the final.
but they're all in PDF. So you're grabbing PDFs and converting it to Excel and.
No,
Or,
I tried a little bit of that. You can do that through Adobe,
yeah,
but I wasn't very successful with.
it's not a very clean process.
I'll try to remember tomorrow to email you the actual Excel file.
You probably ought to make a note, because you won't remember it after.
I will also send you some POS data, and so we can talk.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, so,
And then I can keep you informed, about what I'm working on. I can maybe start with that long-term forecast, and then.
The 2020 budget is out on the website.
it is.
Yeah. And Excel?
The final. No, it's PDF.
I'll send it to you in Excel.
Yeah, so everything will be linked, and I could really show you how everything is linked in there and how it works once you address one thing that.
As long as you show calculations,
Okay.
that's what I use. If I have a spreadsheet with just the numbers without calculations, I just go,
Oh, it would
okay.
have, yeah, it would have.
I need to understand the linkages.
Yeah, both the prelim and the budget, final budget.
I can assume, but I can't guarantee.
Right.
Without a
Any other
calculator.
questions for John?
Well, thank you, John.
Thank you very much for
Appreciate it.
volunteering.
You're welcome, thank you.
Did you, in your email to us, did you put your phone number and stuff like that, or?
I think so, but I can re-email that to you.
That'd be great.
Sure.
I'll look here right now. Maybe.
Oh, you're bringing your laptop, good one.
Oh, yeah, so I could bring that spreadsheet up. Let's see if John's has his. Yes. In the original email, it's got his cell phone, his address and everything.
Terrific.
Yeah. So he's not under the radar. He's right out there.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for volunteering.
You're welcome.
All right, moving right along. You want to cover
Yeah.
numbers?
Capital fund total of $145,789. Depreciation fund total is $87,025. December delinquencies were 18,500, and the roads was 2,501. The January delinquencies were a bit higher at $24,800, which is about $6,000 higher. The roads were up $69. But I do want to say that two members came off of that delinquency list, off of that $24,800. One at $5,293, and the other one at $3,190, which is going to put that, and I didn't do the math, but it's going to put that well below that $18,500.
About 15.4.
Yeah, there you go. So that's probably the lowest it's ever been.
Did we get
You have math for you.
Yeah.
Right.
One of them was a negotiated deal and the other one walked in and
Hey,
Almost one where they took the lot back for a cash settlement.
the other thing I wanted to share was we had six members on the 60-day list, and all of those folks either paid or are making payments. And we also had 6 folks, of course the dam, there was just the ones that have already been sent the attorney. But the dam of 60-day dam accounts, out of those 6 of those, 4 of those have paid. 4 of those have paid or made payments. So that's pretty good.
so a couple things on that. first off, congratulations. Thank you very much for all of your hard effort in collecting those. That's probably the best shape it's been in who knows how long.
Certainly, better than it might, better than it
Was
might.
it Annie who posted that on Facebook?
Maybe.
Very yeah, and that was some interesting information of like at one point how much we did.
Yeah.
The trending of it.
Yeah.
Number under control.
Secondly, if anybody's watching, since the link was not on the bottom of the e-blast, I want to thank all the members who pay it religiously every month and don't end up on his delinquency list and take his time to call.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. I appreciate that, though. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The damage assessment, Poplar Bank, we have $101,294. The dam repair checking, we have $140,001 for a total of $241,295 for special assessment account. So,
And we don't do anything on the reserve funds till the next meeting.
right.
Yeah. That they're with some severance pay issues and some other things that are going to hit us in February, closing the lodge. It's probably going to be pretty tight at the end of the month.
Figured that.
Moving right along, news and notes, SOS program.
I am really happy with our membership as far as the Save Our Security Fund. Monies received to date, and this is cash that we've received, $19,010. And then with the pledged amounts, the monies yet to be collected is another $12,400 to be collected yet, for a total of $31,410 that our members have donated to our Save Our Security Guard Fund.
What was the yet to be collected number again?
$12,400. Yeah.
6 months.
Well, that keeps
Yeah.
security good.
Yes.
Awesome.
So that's outstanding, and I just want to go on record to thank the members for that. That's great.
Is that money being segregated?
Yes,
And then it'll only be used
Yes.
for
Yes.
payroll and benefits for those two cards?
for security, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
very good.
it's being tracked religiously.
Yeah, we wasn't sure how to do that. She talked to the accountant today, and she's recommending opening up another account just for that, so that the members will see that that's exactly what that's
the
for.
more upfront and clear we are with it, it's transparent.
Transparency.
That way, what you need to do is just figure out what those two security guards cost, benefit-wise and wage-wise, and we'll just transfer it back to operating to cover payroll.
Yeah.
And everyone sees it, it's straight, it's transparent.
Right.
100%.
Load limits, as I suppose everybody knows, it went on February 1st. It will be on till April 15th, or unless we determine differently. In the past, I think last year we left it on till the 15th. A few years before that, we would raise it a little bit earlier if the roads would withstand the weight. The load limits are 28,000 pounds. 13 tons, 28,000 pounds, 13 tons, 26,000 pounds. So as of now, I mean, the roads are pretty squishy right now.
It's not a rain or tide and freeze thaw.
Yeah.
Ground's pretty soft.
And it's gonna freeze really hard Friday.
Yeah.
And thaw again.
And then thaw again.
And then thaw again.
Which really plays havoc with the roads.
Oh, yeah.
Our utilities committee, headed by Chairman Eric Bosco, has set up a meeting with South Central Power for a few of us to talk about the program to bury the lines. It's a 5-year program. They're going to start out with a 3-phase line that runs from maintenance up here to the Bremen Gate, and we were looking at that today. It sort of zigzags up through there, but they're going to speak to that, and we'll meet with them on February 20th.
Jim, do you want to be there? When we were trying to set up meetings, we before you had expressed an interest.
February, you wouldn't.
20
like
to 2.
What?
2 o'clock.
That's not gonna work, but I'm confident that, I just wanted to come before because we didn't have a utilities committee, but I'm confident here.
Yeah,
you guys
he's
can-
pretty good. Yeah, and he knows the issues.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is, reliability's gotten actually better here lately. But I mean, for a while there, it was, you know,
It
rain
did
out.
drop down into the Netherlands
Yes.
for a while.
Yeah, we were in third world.
You gonna be there?
For a while.
Huh?
You wanna be there?
Yeah, I would. I'm just double checking.
I just
February
wanted to, you know,
20th.
hold them accountable and say, hey,
Yeah.
this is not, you know, happening in Hocking County is more rural than this, and, you know, lines running through trees, and it's not, it's unreliable, so
My power went out in that Burlington last night, man.
I feel you mean.
And I don't have a generator there.
Those are all probably buried lines, right?
They are.
Flips out. Sometime.
I never got out of my
Whole
new
west
house.
side around Hilliard.
They are all buried.
Oh, well. Okay, well, we're gonna meet with them, and the main topic is about the burying of the line and their schedule for that, but I'm sure we'll,
I mean, it hit on reliability.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had some other
Yeah.
issues.
Well, and also the communication path with them. I mean, it's, you
Right.
know, here they're doing this big project and they haven't shared any of their plans or process
Yeah.
and worked with us in terms of what we're gonna do and how to make it easier for everybody here.
I gotta tell you, Eric Bosco
Yeah, boys.
had to be like a dog on a bone to get him to return his calls.
I he did.
And now, they're sending enough people that I texted him, said, it's a good thing he's coming, because I think their whole approach was to try to outnumber us.
We can fix that.
Thank you very much. Okay.
And the last thing I have in news and notes is lottery training. We did about a 2-hour, actually it was a completely 2-hour training session today with the Lottery Commission. We're hoping to have that kiosk up and running tomorrow. We have some logistics problems there, not problems, but issues that we're working on. Hopefully we can get those solved and it'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Still placement issue?
No.
No,
No.
just some
The
logistics.
the gentleman didn't like moving the TV screen up.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it got moved up.
Yeah, yeah.
Just barely enough, but it got moved up.
Barely's okay.
Yeah, enough. Yeah, just enough.
Okay. Discussion items. The dining room rental, well, the first 4 are all kind of food services type things. So, dining room rental, food services, a couple of us on the food service committee are going to look at the dining room isn't listed on our rental form.
Well, it is a restaurant.
It just,
Yeah. Well,
No fee.
we're going to put a fee in place, and it'll be the same, basically the same as this. There'll be a member's fee and a non-member's fee. And obviously, if the restaurant is closed, then we can't tell them they gotta buy their food from us, so there will be caterers allowed in that interim time when we're temporarily suspended. Don't wanna use the word closed. Temporary suspension of operations.
there you go.
And Jeff Barron and I are working on calling around to some other places around here that rent a space similar to that for wedding receptions and that sort of thing. But not so much for the member side. We'll probably keep it very similar to like down here, you know, 150, 200 bucks, something like that. And then we keep a little part of it to do cleanup and that sort of thing afterwards. But it is, you know, an amenity, so at least the building is. So, but the non-member side, we want to get some like information from some other places around here that rent places, and we're not gonna give our space away, I guess is what I'm saying.
Would, if we rented it to non-members, would we consider opening the bar for cash sales? If
Oh,
we
I
could
think
get-
yes. I think
Oh,
we
yeah.
would.
Revenue is revenue.
Revenue is revenue, yeah. and
Absolutely.
We bring in a
Well, a couple of things that'll be in there for non-members.
hideaway bartender, and
Right.
we could make some money.
Yeah, because we can't allow them to bring their own alcohol.
No, we'd have to,
Yeah.
we'd have to
Yeah, we
sell
would,
ours.
we would do that. A couple of things that will be in there is they will not have access to the kitchen.
Yeah.
So their caterer will basically have to come with everything and leave with everything, you know. We're not gonna give them access to dishes or any of that stuff. They're gonna have to bring their own.
How about a security deposit?
I think that's a great idea.
So if they leave them that.
The other thing, a lot of places, and you'll find this out when you're doing your research, I'm sure, they will also have a list of approved caterers. And I'd ask them for who I'm sure they'll give it to you. Maybe you'll find 5 that have the same guys on it. And
Yeah.
I think it's just a wise thing, at least we can have a list of who we won't accept, again, after a bad experience. And I would say, just on the cost upstairs, just think of it as a little nicer room, the furnishings, that, for both members and certainly non-members,
Okay, well, that covers the dining room rental and basically the catering. Let me make a note here before I forget, which I will. Okay, I could always go back and watch this tape, and then I wouldn't have to take notes. I can do it like Christina does it. Thank you very much. It'd probably be what would put me to sleep.
That's what I meant.
Some good news, the last week of operation upstairs, we were visited by the Fairfield County Health Department, and the State of Ohio Food Inspection report was very, very good. There was 2 non-criticals, which means they're basically note this and fix them, next time you have maintenance in, fix it. One of them was the tile flooring or whatever it is in the walk-in had separated a little bit from the wall, so there was and dirt could collect there. So we need to fix that at some point. And the other one was the fan guard on the fan for the cooling system in the walk-in had some dust on the top of it. So basically, this person that did the inspection, which we were still open when the inspection was going on, had to really look, and that's all they found. So that was, yes.
Before you leave that, I had a insurance underwriter in. They do inspections every year, and sometimes I've taken them around to all the buildings. I mean, they come in and they look and they check our fire extinguishers, they check the ANSEL system, they measure the building. But one remark they made when I took them up to the kitchen was, "This is the cleanest kitchen I've ever seen." That's kind of a big deal.
Was that just when were they here?
That was about 3 weeks ago.
So they were still open?
Oh yeah, they were still open.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
I forgot to mention that too.
Yeah.
Do we get any insurance discount because it's temporarily put?
No.
It's temporarily suspended.
Suspended, yeah. Now,
Well,
if it closed, maybe.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Some other updates on food service. We had and we still have a 90-day promotional calendar for upstairs that includes, at the moment, just the comedy night, which is going to go on. We're hoping with pierogies. Now I saw that, and I think there's going to be a barbecue truck too. I think there's going to be a couple trucks. But there's a promotional calendar that will probably continue because the hope and goal, and we'll probably talk about that at some point, is opening up the bar back upstairs fairly quickly, so that there's a presence, there's a reason for people to come here, and I think we can do it revenue neutral, but we'll get to that. The Clubhouse now has a 90-day promotional calendar going, and that will be obviously Chris, since she runs the Clubhouse, and Eric Lapp and I are going to work on coming up with ideas, things to do other than, Super Bowl party, and, there's March Madness coming up, there's St. Patrick's Day, there's all that kind of stuff, and we're going to have a calendar which will hopefully help us with getting more business there so that we can accomplish our budget goal of having it break even or make money. Comedy night is going to go on. There will be food trucks. The bar will be open. Our bar will be open and stocked and staffed. The Clubhouse's menu has just been adjusted. Excuse me. The pricing on that menu had not been looked at in over 6 years. It's been adjusted. and she got her new menus today and was loading them in the computer. So it probably takes effect tomorrow. And the Clubhouse and the Lodge Bar drink prices, we're gonna have them done by March 1st, okay?
Yeah.
You and I get,
Yeah.
I think it'll only take a few minutes to get together, because we got as much as we're gonna get, let's put it that way. Lastly, I wanna look at opening the bar back up, and I've ran some numbers, and I'll kind of share them with everybody. In fact, I'll do that right now. I did not run enough. I didn't realize we were gonna have Linda sitting up here. We'll share. If you'll share, we'll share. I'd appreciate it. This is it couldn't get much more rude. This is you're not allowed to look at this, John. This was a real basic Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
There's some sums in it. That's about the only thing in it.
2 plus.
Pretty much.
A rock and the chisel.
But yeah, it was pretty similar to that.
Ooh, it's shaded.
Well, I did that on a couple of them, yeah. It's pretty basic. If you're just gonna open the bar, you only need, 3 employees total, pretty much, and it's only gonna be open 17 hours, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The electric and propane, that's historical. TV and cable, which also includes the internet, that's historical. The wages are kind of a guess, but very close, to give you a total payroll, and we really don't want only one person up there, even on a Thursday night. We kind of want 2, a bar back and a bartender. I don't like having somebody in there by themselves. And then you just kind of do the math on your sales and your cost of goods and your overhead, and and I pulled some data. At this moment, the only data I pulled was January's, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that 1,400 that we would need in sales over a weekend would be a reach based on January's numbers. But I want to go back, and I know I've got it in a spreadsheet that you've sent me.
Yeah.
I've got some summer, some seasonal, May through September kind of, and I got to believe that the business is there. The only food that would be there would be no food cooked. The only food would be, pretzel bar mix kind of stuff, or potentially popcorn, although I heard that we're having issues with that popcorn machine or something, so I'm not too sure whether they would do popcorn, because it would involve a lot of cleanup. If they just do a Chex Mix kind of thing on the bar, that meets the legal requirements of having something for people to eat when you're serving them alcohol and all that stuff. So this is, think that over a little bit.
So is that sales needed, the $1,400, is that for all?
That's all 3 days,
For 3 days?
Yeah.
So we need $1,400 to break even,
for a weekend.
for a week?
Yeah.
That's very doable.
Yeah, me too. And I don't want to, if these numbers hadn't come out this close, I wouldn't be suggesting this, because you know how tight our budget is, and we can't afford to take on.
I think it's minimal risk. We're risking a minimal amount of money to, well, we run this for a month. If we can't get it going, then we can stop it. But
And that's my proposal would be, that's our proposal, is that we put a time frame on it and say it needs to show a profit, and if it doesn't,
a break even.
or a break even.
I'd love to see a profit. Dan.
Low cost.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I think we just need to sell it that way, so the membership, that, hey,
Yeah.
you asked, we're gonna do this.
You need to come and use it.
Come in and use it,
Yep.
and
Like the point of being picky though, it seems like a lot of electric propane for just a few hours.
Well, it's the
whole
upstairs
for the,
Yeah, I know.
that the restaurant had to pick up.
But
is that the increase from actually keeping it at a minimal temperature to?
I don't know.
I think the answer is it's a sunk cost. It's a fixed cost. So it's,
Yeah.
I always,
I don't wanna, I mean, I just.
We looked at the fixed cost, a couple of months ago when we were,
but we salvaged the other one with it all.
I know.
yeah, and, that's what was being charged up there annually, and broke down by the month, and then broke down
I
by
understand that. I mean,
Oh, his point's well taken.
yeah.
Are we keeping it at 68 degrees now. Or
55.
55.
So there's an increase from jumping it up, and it's probably not.
So the upper level will cost less.
Yes.
Well, we could look on it for a short term at subsidizing the electric and propane, so that the bar, because the restaurant PRL is going to be the bar PRL, and it's all that's there. We could look at subsidizing it or
Well, there's some marginal increase, but there's also some fixed cost agents. Some costs we knew that shutting, suspending operations, that there was some cost.
Full disclosure, I want it open, okay?
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
I think that's best for the membership.
No,
It is, you got a fair point. There's some incremental cost to opening it, but it's probably not a full.
Not that amount, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's all I got.
it's gonna be hard to figure though because we don't have any history to know what we're saving, so.
so if we end up at the end of a month, losing $500 or something like that, then we'll just have to look at it as, that could have been, part of us.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
I have a question. Could we sell bagged chips, pretzels, that sort of thing? Maybe make some profit and not have to put the check picks out so much?
We sell them at the Clubhouse. Why we could.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we could do that. Not a problem. I would like to, by the way, Randy has graciously, that'd be a good word for him, accepted the
I don't know.
management job of handling the scheduling and the daily reports and that sort of thing for the small staff and the 3 days that the bar is open.
Well, since he doesn't have any delinquency stuff.
Yeah, right.
All this free.
You work yourself out of a job
We
almost.
have bartenders and barbacks.
Pardon?
We have bartenders and barbacks.
We have at least 2 bartenders now. We don't have barbacks at the moment.
We have to know the date so we can really kind of
Yeah, but
go back to the.
we have 2 bartenders. And we have staff at the clubhouse that's volunteering to come up and fill in the beginning till we get somebody, so that we, if we pick a date, late March, 1st of April or whatever to open it back up, then we'll be able to.
And for clarity, management and board members can volunteer, but nobody else really can. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So if you're on the board or on management, you can be a volunteer.
In the bar.
Ranking in the bar, or ranking other members cannot.
Okay.
How about food service committee?
We talked about this at the clubhouse.
Yeah, well, actually,
We use food service.
they allowed,
Food service.
they allowed non-board management to help out at the clubhouse.
Behind the bar.
Yeah, cookie, for example.
But Kathy and Aim volunteered upstairs. They didn't work at the bar.
In a pinch, we could always ask for volunteers.
Yeah, no,
There's one guy sitting here that volunteered to help out up there, because he did it for, 2 years. 2 years. Yeah. So
I would, we've all volunteered to do security.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
okay. All right, well, we haven't picked an exact date yet. We kind of need to do that, but I'm guessing from our conversation that there's nobody that's against doing this, correct?
No, not at all.
Okay. You okay with it?
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, what's next on my list here? I'm not done, I don't think.
Growler promotion.
Oh, I'm done with the food service update. Growler promotion, go ahead.
Well, the brewmaster was in there the other day. We was discussing this situation, and he said that if you go up to the bar right now, or lately, where we used to have the growlers displayed, there's nothing, there's no growlers up there.
Right.
And he said we should probably do some kind of promotion to promote the growlers. Either both up here and down at the clubhouse, because we can sell them and we do pretty good on them, but just, I don't know if members know whether or not they can buy them or not, because they're not, we don't promote them.
Well, I would say
And they
Mike
are the,
was the last person that really pushed that program. I bought one when Mike
Yeah.
was chairman. Mike really pushed that.
yeah,
And it sort of kind of fell off the radar
Yeah,
after my.
well, I think it should be brought back. Our
I think
brewmaster's
it's-
charge ought to bring it back, because you can carry them out, you can take them with you.
When we do the pricing, we're gonna look at the cost for refilling them and the cost for buckets of beer or whatever. And there's liable to be some adjustment. But to Randy's point, and they don't have to wait till we open upstairs, the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Because we've got a supply, we had to order
Yeah,
a gross of them. or
Yeah, they
something
just
like
took
that.
them off the shelves when they
Yeah.
ran them out, and
Well,
then
we ran out,
we
right?
ran out, and then we had a replacement stock, and they put them back in the stock room. But one thing, just before we go on any major promotion, filling those things is not working very well. I did buy one,
okay,
about a week ago,
okay.
and, it was only half full,
Ah,
and, so just a real test and education has to happen. Well, no,
There's a hose that you're supposed to.
there's a straw.
Yeah, that goes down
You're
the
supposed to
bottom.
soften the bottom up with a growler.
So, yeah, sometimes it takes 20
Well,
minutes to go.
if you, just go up to Double Edge Brewery and watch them do it, and you can figure it out pretty quickly.
Our equipment doesn't work
Gotcha.
exactly right, is what I've been told by several people.
Well, the pressure has to be proper too.
And that is one of the issues. So I just want to.
I think JJ's the problem.
I think
I'm
we
saying, we
just took on the
got
project.
this one figured out.
we just got that on the shelf.
Yeah, all volunteer to be a test.
Yeah, we can.
You're gonna-
I got
Really knew how to tap cakes.
Okay, well, we agree we need to promote them, but before we put a promotion out, we need to make sure that we can fill them correctly without.
It's been Jeffers before we do
That's
it.
right, yeah.
One thing to do if you want to check pricing, go into Double Edge Brewery there at Lancaster.
Okay.
It's right on Chestnut Street,
Yeah.
just past Columbus and Chestnut.
Double Edge?
Double Edge Brewery, they're pretty popular in Lancaster.
There's a couple of them right there in Lancaster.
Yeah, I just go to that one.
Outer Belt is there.
Outer Belt's on the outside of Columbus, or Lancaster, but they price them anywhere, their growlers anywhere, I think between $11 and $16, depending on what beer you get. So just for offhand.
Okay. Good idea, thank you. Next one is the assessment increase, which, I brought a copy of somewhere, but I really don't need it. Everybody had it. It's the one where it's a total of $40. The first year is 30, the second year is 10. And it's broke down. It's broken down by general operating fund, which is basically payroll, capital fund, which is, dredging, engineering studies, capital projects, thank you.
Yep.
And the last one is depreciation and equipment, which is just exactly what it says, which all of us have seen us push stuff out years on that equipment fund, and how each will be affected first year and second year. Did anybody didn't see it?
No,
Okay. Basically what we need to do is say yes or no, whichever, and if it's approved, then next Tuesday night, I will present this, actually, next
Monday.
Monday night. because-
Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on what we schedule both for.
We might have to do Monday because Monday is 90 days till the date in May that we would want to do the election. So, anybody got any questions on it?
I think it's good job.
No, not on that. I was just curious, is there some reason why we wait until June?
Yeah, 90 days.
Okay.
Well, if we wait till, the longer we wait, unfortunately, the longer it is before we start getting this money coming in.
Exactly my point.
Yeah, and we're gonna stay with May.
The code requires.
I know that.
90
I
days.
just it sounded like you were willing to delay until the following month, and I was just
I don't think
They
so.
were gonna move the board
management meeting one day.
Board meeting.
Either that or the special assessment meeting can come a couple weeks later, a week later too. It's just a matter of finding the right date, but it'll all be effective July 1.
Well, if you look at the May calendar, you got Mother's Day, then you got Sunday, because it's gonna have to be on Sunday, I think. It hasn't historically been a Sunday?
Yeah.
So Mother's Day is the 10th, 17th is open, the 24th is Memorial Day. So the 17th is the only one you got, unless you wanna go, unless you wanna go into May, or June, pardon me. So.
No, I'm just anxious to get it.
The only concern I have going on is, we had 60 last year, and we're at 40 now. Are we gonna get the bang we need for $40? I mean, I understand I'm concerned, we're going back at it. And I've seen the numbers, I've seen what we're doing. And are we confident that that's gonna be enough for us all?
And enough for how long?
I just don't wanna go back at 60 and get the same pushback that we're going way
I see that, yeah.
too aggressive.
Is there
I just
a
wanna get this passed. And I think we're all on the same page.
That.
I just don't wanna go back and people say, you're asking for the same amount we just turned down.
Yeah.
You're being too aggressive, but that's my.
I think what you just said was, is there a middle amount?
Well, we went 15, which if people said, well, it's too low, we really didn't think you.
Yeah, that was way
We
too
went
low.
60, people said, well, it's too high, even though we spread it. And it just,
I think
I don't want to go back to the same amount that people just shot.
I think the 40 will do for the budget what we needed to do. Now,
Take longer.
Replenish, just takes a little
yeah,
longer.
how long, if somebody asks, are you promising you won't come back for any more money for how many years? I don't know that any of us can make that guarantee.
Somebody like John goes through and does a 5 and 10 year
Yeah.
projection.
I don't,
And then unless the dam fails again too, there's always.
You don't break
I mean,
it down.
yeah.
Yeah.
You stay away from the
Do
dam.
we need a dam?
Believe me,
Do we need any major expense that we don't have already planned for? And the question is, we don't have a crystal ball, and
the other indicator, the other thing we have to consider is the fact that there's a group out there that has been getting feedback from a lot of members. That Members Advocacy Group, MAG. They came back and recommended no more than $40 because of the feeling they got from, and I don't know how, they did a survey, and there's 20 some people on that. On that committee. So they've gone out and got a feel. And I think, the first thing we came up with when we were sitting upstairs, and I think you were there, was it started out at like 43, and by the time we added stuff in, it was all of a sudden at 60. And the feedback was, they're like Jim said, we tried 60, we got shot down. This is ridiculous coming back for the same thing. Obviously, 60 would last longer, and it's not the 40 is not a Band-Aid, don't get me wrong. 20 or something like that would be a damn Band-Aid.
I agree.
40 will help the budget. It'll make it to where, 40, by the way, will make it to where probably as early as next spring, we'll be able to look at the budget and build cost into that budget to open the lodge restaurant back up.
Substitute.
To open it back up.
cost. You said cost.
Yeah, I said cost.
Probably subsidy better, but.
Well, okay, we'll use subsidized a lot. But if we only went 20,
I need a
then we'd have to overcome trying to sell the fact that we're not gonna open that back up for a long time.
Yeah.
If we go 60, I think the sweet spot was 40.
Keep in mind, when we went to the 60, it was 20, 20, 20.
Yeah.
This is 30, so it's actually going to give us a bigger bang
Yeah,
up front.
30,
And if that tails off, obviously.
Yeah.
But is there still a proposal to do after that phases in, do a yearly increase?
The
Not tied to
CPI?
Not tied to CPI.
Not talking.
What's hurting us is CPI is 1.6%. I mean, people think, well, rate went up, well, that produced $20,000 or whatever it was, and it didn't even cover our increase.
23.5.
So it didn't cover our wages.
Well, I
Increase
think,
in wages, not let alone any other cost.
I think that's that MAG wants to look at that. They're proposing that we look at it, excuse me, with a flat X amount percent a year or something other than the CPI.
Yeah.
And that's a, you know,
There's a 5% cap too,
yeah.
so that we wouldn't, you don't wanna hit 5%, you wanna keep the rule.
That's what we currently have.
Right. In the rules. of-
Right, but theirs was gonna be direct funded 4%, not based on the CPI.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and in the back of my head, I have that in my back of my head saying that's gonna be on the voted also, so, but I don't know what the board's gonna put on the ballot at this point, so, would I feel better at 50? Sure. You know, I want recovering fast, but, do I think it's safe to say that we will recover? Yeah, unless we have that surprise.
My worry is going forward because I don't think there's a large appetite for, excuse me, for us to come back to the membership in 3 years. So let's say we don't get that additional adjustment. Let's call it an escalator, so it's not a CPI anymore, so we don't confuse those two. So if we come with an escalator in August and that is not approved, and we kind of think that we might need that going forward, so we aren't coming back again in 3 years, then we've swung and we've missed, and we have just the one, and that's why I'm saying maybe there is a sweet spot. However, it's not that I don't like the escalator, it's just,
Possibility could be voted down.
yes.
We'll
And,
still have the CPI though.
yeah,
Which
at
is-
1 point, whatever.
I agree,
Yeah.
agree.
I would like to see the board put the escalator on the ballot, put both of them out there, explain to people, this will kick in once the $10 goes away.
Yeah,
Or
I would
gets too good,
Yeah.
then you're gonna have a 4% increase every year, and the CPI language takes it out. That way people understand it, know what they're getting, and it says, hey, when this gets in, hey, we're gonna not have to keep that, we're gonna have a little bit more of a,
Separate issue or same?
I would do it a separate issue, that way people can vote on what they feel necessary.
I worry about how we package it,
You
and
have to stand
I worry we get enough. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to come back in 3 years
None of us do. But,
or 4.
but the reality is, we don't know all things. We
No.
don't know if the escalator would get passed. We don't know this,
Right.
we don't know that. You know,
Well, based on the feedback from the members advocacy group and also all of our input, I am comfortable with the $40. I think it's, especially since you're getting a bigger kick of it in the first year, $30. I don't believe, even if they don't change it to an escalator from a CPI, I don't believe we'd be coming back in 3 years.
There would be a 4% or is it what they're targeting?
4%.
That's what they say. So we're at what, 170 now, you add
171.
30, another 10, 60, 10.
Yeah.
So 4% would be $8 a year, which I think is more, pretty easier for
Yeah.
people to swallow, but that 840 times what was it, 750 accounts?
790.
790 accounts?
789.
We had another new member. So
What did we get another new one? 790.
That's
somebody moved.
Actually, I've got that down to the.
You're getting what?
6,000 a year.
How much was it?
6,000 a year.
What do you have for a month or
790 times the 8.4.
10, 12, right, because you did it.
6,630?
On drugs.
Yeah, 8 times 8
Drugs
is
today.
400, so.
By the way,
Amazing.
if Dan
$80,000.
is correcting his math, we're in real trouble.
I think the medication hasn't worn off yet.
I think so.
It's actually wearing up, and that's the problem. 80,000, almost $80,000 that produces. So I mean, that's annually.
Yeah.
That, I mean, right now we're getting 20, that doesn't even cover
And that
payroll.
escalates.
Payroll, yeah, it's gonna be,
They come out.
because you're taking 210 plus
Yeah.
8, now you're taking 4.
That's why I would rather see it as a whole package going in one vote and saying we need both of these. And if you don't vote for both, if you vote for one, there could be clawback, we could be coming back.
They'd still be separate ballot issues.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. I just, putting them out in front of the voters, I think is the right thing to do. It gives total transparency, and they will have an opportunity to, what a lot of people have said is they would like to see multiple things on the ballot. You know, because it's not as simple as just one thing, you know, so I just.
Well, unfortunately, some of those kind of wanted a line item veto kind of thing, like, well, I don't like you spending money on this, so no, and I like you spending money on this, so yes, and no, that would be
Extremely hard to implement in code to do that.
Yeah.
Because you're basically, if you put that in code,
Yeah.
you're setting up separate funding.
And you're gonna have meetings all the time to.
But you're gonna have to set up funding to fund that, so I get $10 to do, whatever it is. You gotta set up funds to.
We'll have to
track
hire
something
people
else,
in order
and you're
to
obligated by
execute.
code to track it that way.
Well, you'd end up with multiple road assessments. Where you'd have to
It's the
fund.
same,
Well,
There in the road assessment,
remember,
where we-
you're constrained by the amenities, or by the code. Deed restrictions, which says if you're paying an assessment, you get equal access to all of the amenities. And that's in our code. That's not the code, that's the deed restrictions. There's no way around it. So if we're providing any docks up front, you get one if you pay your assessments.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Right.
and that's,
yeah.
anything you do. If you get
Want to say,
swimming
well, I
pool,
don't pay for that.
you
but
get,
I'd rather pay for this.
if it's something we operate as an amenity, there's not a way that we can charge for it.
Well, what people were advocating was this line item voting. So let's say we wanted to do, part of our plan was to do security build. They wanted to opportunity to vote on that. Probably you're restricting that
Oh,
fund
you're right.
directly to that, which is Kennedy University. Fund here with restricted funds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're not.
We're not.
Grant.
I'm pretty familiar.
Very,
Yes, no, great.
very, very complicated.
Okay, so where are we at?
I'm for
I'm for it.
about 2 questions.
The $40, 30 first year, 10 the second, and putting the 4%
4%.
escalator.
That would kick in after the
After the third year.
Yeah.
after the third year.
Wasn't there also another
Yeah.
thing to vote on?
Amenity,
Capping
Yeah.
amenity.
Right. I would
the percentage
I
of
would like to
amenity.
see all of this go on the ballot. Move forward. That's my
So
personal.
let's approve what we got on the table. JJ's made a motion.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
The 4% escalator after the 2 years and the $40,
The 30/10.
the 30/10 assessment increase.
I'm good. If that's, are we voting?
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
me too.
It's 5-0.
Yeah,
Let the record reflect.
it is. I wrote it down in pen. I didn't even use a pencil. Now, to that other point, on the amenities money, I think we probably can't tell you what you know, that will be pretty much a board deal, but I think we can tell you how we feel about it, which is something needs to be done with that fund.
Was that something from my proposal that I sent in to Randy and sent in to both you gentlemen?
It was from,
Or was that from somebody else?
it was from the,
That was when I put in about 50%, changed to 25%. I didn't know if you're talking about.
well, theirs was a little different. Was it 40-40-20?
40-20, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
With a cap of 75.
Capped, the amenities would be capped at 75.
And then it rolls over to a follow-on year.
Yeah.
We badly need that money in the operating fund, so.
Well, yeah, and we don't want to restrict the committee's ability to take care of their amenities
No.
and projects, because that's what drives the volunteer spirit here. And, you know, the tennis committee, the lakes committee's been invaluable in doing projects with that, but what we've ended up with was a glutton of money in there.
Right,
Of
like 144,000.
140 grand in the last few years that somewhat gets put to projects that necessarily could be put to better use in operating.
In operating fund, that was my point with what I said.
I don't want to restrict the
$71,000.
committees to not have money for projects because, I mean,
Not the intent.
that's not the intent.
No, even the proposal that I sent in was 71,000, they just had less, but they would do other fundraisers and other things.
I want to ask a little historical data. Sue, Since you're here, I know you've been involved in Lakes Committee for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And you've been involved, so you've been involved probably in amenities money ever since it started.
Yeah.
Well, it's only been in the last few years that it went over 100,000.
Yeah, so most years was like $45,000, because years 35,000, you had to
Okay.
split it up with the 50, 40, 10.
Yeah.
And it's just been unbelievable last years, and it's because I think once the dam came in, some people decided that's when they were gonna leave and make the big bucks and, go to Florida or whatever, and, 60 homes sold. It was just unbelievable. I can't see that becoming a trend. I hope not.
This next year will probably do the same, but I feel like you never know. It's all interest
I
rates.
don't know.
It's all interest rates, as you know, so.
Well, I mean, I'm actually looking here at it, in 2005, the new member fee was only $1,686.
Wow.
It doubled the next year. They both went in to go to 2 years assessment and 2 years of road, up from 1 year assessment and 1 year of roads. And so it went from 1686 in 05 to 3372 in 06, and it's now at 4444. So that's, I mean, there was a basic step there. So,
Yeah.
And the fund is built in. So.
Yes.
And before, we had that program, you could go and ask the board for money to fix something or to help start some program or something, and you were just told no, 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 because it wasn't budgeted, and there probably just wasn't the money there. And so, nothing big was getting done by committees. It was just, parties, and, they used to take the boat money that we do now, they would just go have a big party with it. Well, now we're making pretty darn good money with that, and we've done a lot of things over 20 years with that money that we couldn't do, because we didn't have the assessments there to fix, $75,000 worth of pipes and dredge and all that stuff, so.
Yeah.
So nobody, and that's the thing, I don't want to take that money. I mean,
Yeah, I think some new members might think that too, that this is like a frivolous thing taken on by the committee chairs. And the committee chairs are very serious about what they're involved in, and they study and they get quotes, and they go out and figure this out. They don't just say, wow, we got $100,000, let's go, do something crazy. It's not like that at all. There's a lot of work put into it, and that's why we fight to keep that money.
Well, we saw
I'd
that.
like to do to vote yes on that, what we're doing, but I did, because I think it's good if it goes over 100,000.
The 40-40-20?
Because we need it.
The 40-40-20 with the cap of 75? So you supported the 40-40-20
Yeah,
with the cap of
I
75,000?
had to do a little talking to it, I did.
Pardon me?
I had to do a little talking to it, but
I bet.
I did.
But thank you.
So at least everybody still is gonna get something if we get the
Right.
big money. If we don't get the big money, you just don't get it.
Well, the new membership fee keeps going up, doesn't it? So
Well,
It goes
that's
up by CPI.
the next, the new member goes up. Yeah,
It goes up basically by
Yeah,
the membership.
I want to discuss
What
that in a
is,
second.
what the annual amount of
Yeah.
the assessment time.
I want to discuss that when we get done with the amenities. With the, do we want to support to the board the 40-40-20 with a cap of 75?
What's our recommendation?
You know?
Is our recommendation?
Yes.
Okay. And that's 5-0. Okay, one of the other things that was on Mag's recommendations was doing something with the new member fee, wasn't it?
There's a cap in it.
Yeah.
4,500. Well, it's 4,505 now.
Yeah.
It's 2 years of assessments,
Yeah.
2 years of road.
Right. So the assessments keep going up.
If you keep tracking it that way.
Yeah.
So, your feelings?
The MAG committee was comfortable with the 45. I mean, it was something that they felt was fair. If you go over that, are you gonna drive people away? Apparently the realtors were saying that wasn't a good thing, they didn't like that, but,
Well, there's no interest like self-interest.
Exactly, exactly.
They just need to sell.
I didn't say that,
I sold two houses. I sold 2 houses in 2019 here in Hideaway Hills, and the way I did it is I had to get half the money back to them as a credit. So to make a deal,
You
you
work.
do what you have to do.
Yeah, negotiation.
Well, I get to see some of one of the realtors' paperwork as it flows through here, because my wife does her paperwork. And that's a negotiating point, and it seems like almost every
Right.
home sale.
It's a shocker when you're talking to the other side.
Yeah.
And you talk about that fee.
Well, it's also a hindrance in selling club lots too.
Or a hindrance for a member to sell a lot.
Yeah, well, say, yeah.
Yeah, same deal.
We don't have many club lots left, do we?
Oh, right, we do, it's just they're not.
Kind of like this, like this, like this.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, everybody?
I think we need to cap it for the good of the community, and
4,500?
that was the recommendation. I mean, you've done a steady increase. We looked at a double increase, not
10,
that
15 years
a lot of people remember
That's
that.
running 15 years ago. Do we do the 4% with that though as well? I don't think we want to make it 4,500 forever.
Yeah, my problem is we're cutting a revenue source, and again, before we know we are getting any yay votes.
I'm a little concerned about the timing of this, and I'll tell you that, I gotta think a lot more about what goes on.
Well,
and talk
so
to
would
other
that be a
people.
vote also though?
It's gonna have to be held until August.
Yeah.
Anything can be, anything can be.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I honestly, I would vote against it.
Until we find out we get an assessment increase.
I'd vote against it right now.
Okay.
Because, one, houses are getting sold at as high a clip as we've seen. I have not heard anybody not selling a home. I asked a couple of realtors and they said, we negotiate. And it gets done.
You get the money back, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
50% back.
so, I don't like.
Even if it goes up, but we're still gonna have to negotiate with them, so, I mean, you guys have to make that decision. Still gonna get sold
You wanna-
one way or the other.
You want to table this?
I would table until
If it's
August.
gonna be voted on, I'd table it, look at it after.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause maybe we'll be able to see
Now?
projections better. with the
Yeah,
figure.
I'm the vote to table it.
Let's table it. You okay with
The
that?
market
Is that
could
what
go
you're
down,
saying?
interest rates could go up.
I'd love to see some data on it instead of, you know.
It looks pretty strong going into springtime.
So,
Should be a good market.
you okay with tabling it, JJ?
Yes.
All right. We'll table it. Are we done on, assessment increase items?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. Moving on to something that's not near as,
Costly.
well, and it's not as tough of an argument for either side. Spring cleanup date.
Yeah,
This is
typically,
something everybody likes you about.
yeah, yeah.
Stick with this one.
Yeah. Typically, we try to do that the week after Memorial Day weekend, not the week of Memorial Day weekend, but the week after, which is June 3rd through 7th. Just wanted to get an approval on that date, which I figured we'd get without too much problem. However, the other question here is whether or not we want to continue with the maintenance pickup end of it. We do charge for that. We do charge extra for that. However, with a lesser maintenance crew, which we always have our two seasonals back at that time, it's kind of tough to do the pickup. So,
I think we need
I'm
to.
axing, I'd like to axe. I mean, we might make a few dollars, but not,
yeah,
it's not worth.
probably not worth it. All the time it takes.
Too less people.
How many do you usually have?
They usually have about 15 or 20, actually.
I
Usually
seem to
takes,
drive by every one of them.
yeah, it usually
For about a
takes
week.
about 2 or 3 days to get it all cleaned up.
I think with the short staff, and even if the assessment goes in place, we won't be we'd struggle
Right.
Yeah.
to try to get them back here. I think we're gonna lose our two seasonals that have been here 2 and 3 years. They're gonna go find another job.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna have the help. So I'm okay with the dates, and I say we axe the pickup.
But we'll still have the containers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
He'd love to bring it there.
Yeah.
And volunteers can help, again, with some of our members that need help. You know, it's not,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's not a thing that we won't help. It's just, I think everybody saves up and just, I was totally joking, when you drive by somebody that's a pickup,
Oh, yeah.
4 or 5 days before, they're starting to throw things out, and it's like a little garbage pile.
Right,
You know,
right, right.
the place doesn't look real good for a while, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and you ought to go down there and kind of watch the dumpsters for.
Oh, boy, have I. It's one of the better watching games.
Yes, yes. Okay, so we're 5-0 on the dates and 5-0 on, no more, not doing the pickups.
Yes.
All right.
Next item here, I just want to inform everybody, the lake level right now is about down about 31 inches. At what point do we want to shut the valve off? Typically, we'll shut it off depending on the weather. Usually in the 1st of January when things start freezing over, that's when they shut it off. Well, this year it hasn't gotten cold and it doesn't look like it's going to here for a while. I know we have builders that are building docks now that are hustling to get them in. One in particular is going to take them another 2 to 3 weeks. So the question is, when do we shut the valve off?
March 1st. So, I mean, we typically, the last 2 years, we've had plenty of rain to fill back up.
Yeah.
Oh,
When's the
I don't have a concern about it filling.
Sue, when's the pontoon launch?
April
End of
25, end of April.
That's plenty of time to bring that back up.
Yeah, I would just say, the only thing I would say is, I have no idea how many, I know there are 3 docks that I know of,
Yeah,
going
yeah,
in.
right.
And one of them hasn't started yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's 2 builders. It's the same builder who's building 2 of them.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I would guess 3 weeks would be plenty.
okay, so we'll, so you're saying March 1st to start shut the valve, okay.
Shut the valve, is that,
Unless we cool way down.
Yeah, I mean, if something dramatic happened in the weather, we can revisit it quickly.
Okay.
is there any risk of going March 1st?
I remember when it filled up in less than,
Oh, yeah.
what was that? Like 2 weeks.
We had a real dry spring, but
Yeah.
the chances of that are,
It's not happening yet.
no.
Okay,
I mean, if it looks like it's good, we're gonna get an extended freeze period, just send Rick out there and shut it and just make a decision.
right.
Yeah, I just-
Oh, no, we'll definitely, if we get extended freeze period, we'll definitely get out there and shut it, because we'll look forward ahead to that.
Okay.
Okay, the last thing I had on here was, we had approved the building of the canoe racks at the beach. I also contacted that member and she was okay with it as long as we put some kind of signage up there relieving her of any liability. But then I had, well, actually it was Rick came to me and said he was thinking about it, and are we worried because of where it's going to be? It's going to be behind the parking area. Are we worried about people's vehicles getting damaged when people are taking their canoes and kayaks off those racks and hauling them over to the area to launch them?
Create one no parking spot.
Pardon me?
Create one no parking spot.
Okay.
I'm not really worried about it. Somebody damages the vehicle, it's their responsibility.
That is the other side of that coin.
I mean,
I think that's a good idea. Is that okay? I mean, everybody,
got a
wanna
concern about
continue
we're
with
not
it?
liable for.
We need the storage.
yes, oh,
That's become a real
absolutely.
issue.
There's no question.
You're gonna lower a few more docks this year.
Yeah, I agree, we're not liable, but if we make one parking spot, no parking, to give them
That's a great
egress
idea.
so that they,
Road walkway, I mean, a reasonable
Yep.
amount of
Yep.
space.
Okay, cool, good idea.
Are we still doing the second tier at
Yes.
Eagle Falls?
Yeah.
I'd like to do
Have you
all
seen
of
them?
them.
They already got that started.
I'd like to do them all 2-tiered. I think that's such a great idea, that-
Well, we probably won't do that at the North Park.
because you have so much space.
Yeah,
What's the date we're allowing people, April 15th?
April 15th.
okay, this wasn't on the agenda, but one thing I just, a couple people are doing a little bit of research on the Amazon hub locker, the kiosk kind of thing. And so I Googled it and looked, and it looks like, depending on the size, and these are Amazon in particular, and from what I'm reading on there, if you get the Amazon ones, Amazon's the only one that uses them. They won't let FedEx and UPS use them.
That's the risk you run if you go to
Yeah.
the
But it was-
transportation company.
Right.
Of course they'll do that.
It was somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000.
That we would pay?
Yes, because they don't. Now, we're gonna keep doing research only because,
I came up with a higher.
yeah.
You're
But that wasn't, it was not a real big one. It
Oh,
was,
yeah.
You know,
Well, maybe
depends
that's
on the
where,
size.
yeah.
The only reason I'm gonna keep looking into this, and I think Annie's looking, and I think there's a third person that's actually looking, is because long-term, that might be good money spent. You know, put a system down there, it's no longer the guard's issue, we don't have to worry about it.
If we can take the labor out of it.
We don't have to extend the guard shack, we don't have to add on to the guard shack because of the packages. It may be a good $20,000 spend, but I'm just saying that we're looking into it. Okay.
How big did they get? The ones I saw could handle a big package or 2 or 3 big packages, but like a
Yeah.
pallet, no way.
No. They can't do pallets, they can't do 75-inch TVs, they can't do hot tub covers. We've had those delivered.
Tires,
Depends on-
how about 4 tires?
The guys don't have the
He
answer to that.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know the
I'm
answer.
serious.
I know, I go by there all the time and see tires stacked down there.
Well, I say you get ATV tires.
Yeah, those you could get.
Yeah, well, no, ATV tires come wrapped in 4, yeah, you know.
Yeah, and they're banded.
Usually biggest record.
But I actually saw somebody have 4 big tires,
Yeah.
you know, full size.
We are looking into it, as an alternative, you know, on down the road, because we're gonna, at some point, again, here probably pretty shortly, we're gonna need to discuss our whole package situation, so, I'd like to have some stuff to throw out to discuss, other than, well, I guess we just have to keep taking.
Would we have to get a FedEx and a UPS?
I wanna do more research, I gotta believe that.
Is it just ordered from Amazon, no matter who carries
No,
it?
this was, I went into the comments, you know, that's, and this was Amazon, period. But there's some systems that apartment complexes or condo units put in that all shipping companies can use. So I did 30 minutes worth of Google time is all I got into this so far, and it's gonna take a lot more than that.
I'll drag up mine and forward it out to the group too. So they're heavy duty, they're, you know, weather protected,
Yeah.
but as you would expect, they're pretty secure devices, and if we're spending 20 grand to buy them and still being told not to let anybody else use it, I mean, that's a no-go, but, you can't have the carriers dictating it.
Yeah.
So what my guys at FedEx did, and they just said they as a company made the decision to walk away from Amazon. So that was a huge deal that they made. So they'll make big dollar decisions, but there's just no rational reason for them to support it. But they gave me a supplier that they thought was good, and I have some information from them.
Worth looking at.
Yeah, I mean, if they can currently back up to the door and hand the packages and start signs, why would they want to invest in?
They're making out like a bandit on it.
Yeah.
There's no business decision.
We do the work for them.
We
Exactly.
do their work for them. And
From the gate in, we do. Because they're actually being paid to deliver to the
Right,
front door,
absolutely.
not the end of the driveway.
They always say the most expensive part of their business is the last mile, and we're doing it. Yeah, we're receiving it and handing it up.
That is true.
You're right. Until we catch them on camera.
But if we back on the contrary, if we let them in and deliver, we are going to have
Okay.
one mess. So
So I just wanted to update you guys on that. We do have 2 real quick things we need to cover in executive session, some personnel type issues.
One other question I just had real quick, I mentioned to Rainey, lot 711, we keep having that slide by the security where Rainey was a lot 711 there in the front, going towards the boat ramp. The dirt keeps sliding, and we keep paying our, maintenance people have to keep going over there with their heavy duty equipment, moving that dirt. I don't know if we've done it 8 times, Rainey, 10 times.
Oh, probably at least, yeah.
At least, and it still keeps happening, and the owner, who got a better deal because of the problems with the property, no one's ever being responsible. We keep paying, that dirt has been sliding down from their property onto our property now. And I was just wondering, at a certain point, are we gonna send them a letter, or say they're somewhat responsible. I gave you the example, Jim. Remember, I just had a fine recently where you talked about manpower that moved my boat over to the boneyard. At a certain point, doesn't this gentleman or whoever owns that property, isn't he kind of responsible to start looking at a solution?
We need to look at it.
Because we keep paying, and
Actually, we're cleaning is our property.
yeah, but it's his dirt that slid.
Once it slides, oh no.
I mean, you could go over and mark this property if you wanted to.
We have.
You see the orders lying, right?
Yeah, we have. We've been intimately involved in that
Okay.
situation.
Yeah.
It starts on his,
Yeah.
goes to ours, and then goes onto our road, our ditch in the
Out of
road.
ditch, and then we gotta send our people over here to take care of it.
At one point, a year ago, we decided that it was less expensive to have the backhoe clean it out once every 3 or 4 weeks, because we're not responsible for the slip.
Right, right.
And
But yeah, the dirt keeps, yeah, you think you put a retaining wall or I don't know if anybody's sent any information to him recently or asked him what he plans on doing about the problem.
well, the prior owner put a bunch of riprap in there.
Yeah, to push the dirt faster towards our property.
Looked nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. The price
Yeah,
I did it.
we're looking at it.
Okay.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
got a quick question. When you guys talk to the electric company, I was wondering, when they come through and do that first easement all the way up through here, like when the homeowner's line comes off of there, is that gonna be a cost to us, the homeowner, to bring it from that
We'll find out.
thing down to your house? Oh, that'd be fun at my place, right under the road.
We're gonna ask those questions.
Huh?
We're gonna ask those questions. We're gonna get the final detail on it. We got some preliminary details, which, after we have the meeting, we'll share. But I think there will be a hookup fee, but we'll see what happens. All right, anything else? Thank all of you for coming.
You guys, have a good day.
Yep.
And it's not really
Thanks for coming.
to any carrier, non-denominational.